If you've been scrolling through endless TV options, watching the same YouTube roundups, and still feel stuck wondering whether an 85-inch screen is worth the extra space and price, this review is here to clear that up. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks setting up the TCL 85-inch T7 series in a medium-sized living room, pairing it with the matching Q65HQ Class 5.1 soundbar, and I'm going to walk you through what it actually feels like to live with this combo day in, day out. First, let's talk about the biggest question most people have. Does a TV this big actually improve the viewing experience, or does it just become a massive decorative piece? The T7's 85-inch diagonal translates to a viewing distance of about 8 to 10 feet for an optimal picture. If you normally sit closer than that, the image can start to feel a bit soft around the edges, especially on fast-moving sports where the 144 Hz refresh tries to keep motion smooth. In my own setup, the couch is exactly 9 feet away, and the extra screen real estate makes movies feel immersive without the need to constantly turn your head. Picture quality is where the T7 tries to justify its price tag. The QLED panel uses Quantum Dot technology, which gives the reds and greens a punchier look compared to standard LCDs. When I turned on a Dolby Vision HDR clip on Netflix, the highlights popped without the typical washout you sometimes see on cheaper 4K sets. The 4K UltraHD Resolution holds up fine for 1080p content too. Upscaling isn't perfect, but it's respectable for a TV in this size class. One practical strength is the consistent brightness across the whole screen. On a sunny weekend I could watch without pulling the curtains, something smaller TVs often struggle with. Now, let's not pretend the picture is flawless. The T7 still relies on a VA panel, which means its viewing angles aren't as wide as an IPS screen. If you have a wide sectional sofa and people are watching from the side, the colors can shift a bit. In my house, the family members on the far edge of the sofa notice a slight loss of contrast, but it's not a deal breaker unless you plan on hosting large gatherings where everyone needs a perfect view. Smart features are powered by Google TV, and that part actually feels pretty smooth. The interface is clean, voice search works with the remote, and the built-in Chromecast lets you toss anything from your phone to the TV in a second. I did run into a tiny hiccup when trying to launch a game from the PlayStation app. The TV took a few seconds to switch inputs, which is noticeable if you're used to a console that flips instantly. It's not a fatal flaw, but it's worth mentioning for gamers who expect a razor-thin transition. Audio is where the bundled Q65H soundbar really matters. The 5.1-channel layout, combined with Dolby Atmos processing, fills the room in a way the TV's built-in speakers simply can't. I tested it with a recent superhero movie, and the explosions seemed to come from all directions, not just the front. The soundbar's Q-Class label is more marketing than a technical spec, but the real-world result is a clear, punchy bass and crisp dialogue without needing a separate subwoofer. One practical weakness: the soundbar's rear speakers are wireless but require a lineopsite to the main unit for the best sync. In a typical layout with the TV against a wall, you might need to place the rear satellites a bit higher than you'd like, or accept a slight delay on surround effects. So who should actually consider buying this combo? If you have a dedicated home theater room or a large living area where the TV can be the focal point and you can sit at the recommended distance, the T7 offers a compelling mix of size, HDR performance, and a sound system that saves you from buying a separate speaker setup. It's especially attractive for families that binge-watch a lot of streaming content and want a cinema-like feel without breaking the bank on a high-end OLED. The bundled soundbar also means you avoid the hassle of hunting for a compatible speaker system, which can add a few $100s to the overall cost. On the other hand, if you live in a small apartment, have a modest viewing distance, or are a serious gamer who needs the lowest input lag possible, you might want to skip the T7. A 65-inch model would deliver similar picture quality without the risk of overwhelming your space, and you could pair it with a dedicated gaming monitor that offers lower latency. Likewise, if you already own a high-quality sound system, the bundled soundbar may feel redundant, and you might be better off allocating your budget toward a TV with a better panel technology, such as an OLED that offers deeper blacks. Let's talk value. The price point for an 85-inch 4K QLED with a 5.1 Dolby Atmos bar sits in the mid-range compared to flagship models from Samsung or LG.